Okay, so this video might contain some spoilers for the whole Swordsmith Village arc or just the Demon Slayer manga in general. Okay, so episode 7 called Awful Villain covered around 2.1 chapter, which is really not much. It's definitely not enough, which I'm gonna talk more about it, but first of all, what we have to talk about is the pace of the episode, which is really off. It's so slow. It really feels like they were dragging out some parts of the episode for sure. They added some anime only scenes that's not in the manga, but they didn't really need to add it. Like, it didn't added much to the manga, or it wasn't needed at all in my opinion. And the other thing is the staff as well for this episode wasn't that good as well, which is surprising. I don't know if I could say problems. I feel like they're having some problem with the staff. Like, we don't have much of the aces, or the staff is a little bit lacking so far in this season. So I'm really hoping for the next 4 episodes, because we'll probably get 11 episodes, so I'm really hoping for the next 4 episodes to have a good staff and just big episodes, because it really needs to pick up. So the episode starts again where we left off last episode, with Hantengu running and Tanjiro about to cut his head off. We get this amazing shot of Tanjiro trying to cut Hantengu's head with the fire on his blade, which is Nezuko's blood, with the little effects of the fire. Yeah, it looks really good. I really love that they're emphasizing on the tongue of Hantengu, saying fear. It's gonna be important in the future. I love the sound as well that they're using for Hantengu's voice, with the screeching and everything. It's really perfect, and I like what they did here as well with Zohakuten popping out behind Tanjiro, just kind of like in the manga with his shadow. So again, they're using this effect, 3D effect that they've been using. It's tough to say if it's 2D or 3D. I'm gonna go with 3D effect, like digital effect. We have a good usage here with the speed lines and everything. I love how they use the speed lines here. So here we see the digital effect that they've been using for the clones, especially this season, that I've been talking about, that they're gonna use this more in the future. They're using it here. So I'm guessing they're using the same digital effect here, and with the digital effect that they're using with Zohakuten here, it's the same effect. This is where we see a little bit already of the problem of the pacing. It's kind of like that in the manga as well. I'll always find it a little bit weird of Zohakuten just standing behind Tanjiro for like 3 pages. Like, it's the same thing here in the anime. Zohakuten is behind Tanjiro for around 20 to 25 seconds. Like, Tanjiro has the time to say like 8 lines before Zohakuten does actually something. I love here what they did though with the kind of weapon that Zohakuten is using to hit his drum. They did kind of the same animation with Gyoko, you know, forming his pot out of his hand, or with Sekido when Sekido formed the staff out of his hand. They use the same thing. It looks really smooth. I love the sound that they're using for Zohakuten's drum when he hits them. It's a really cool heavy sound. Here they're doing it a little bit different than in the manga, because in the manga, after Zohakuten hits the drum, there's all the wooden dragons that just comes out of the ground. But here in the anime, we just see kind of an explosion with the dust, but we don't really see what happened. And you get kind of the classic, like, we get the explosion 3 times in a row, but from a different angle, which is really cool. I especially love this shot where we just see the explosion, but like from far away and above, so we can really see how huge the scale of the attack was. And so here they really extended this little sequence from the manga. In the manga, the dragon just pops out of the ground, and then the next page is Nezuko saving Tanjiro. Here in the anime, we don't see the dragon with the explosion, but we see them coming out of the smoke. So we get a whole sequence of Tanjiro dodging the dragon, just kind of flying and everything. It looks really good. So the wooden dragon are CGI just like in the opening, which I kind of guessed that it would be just like in the opening. Personally, I don't mind the CGI at all. You can tell that it is CGI, but again, I like it personally. Like, I don't have any problem with CGI. I know some people, as soon as it's CGI, they just don't like it, but to me, I don't care. Now the music, man. One of my favorite OST of this season. Like I said in my reaction, to me it reminds me of a Berserk OST, especially like the vocals of the guy. The vocals of the guys that sings in the Berserk OSTs are really similar to the one here in this scene. And this scene is almost similar to the one that we got in the Mugen Train with Tanjiro and Inosuke against Enmu and his weird CGI tentacles. Especially this scene here when Tanjiro is falling, it's almost similar as when Tanjiro is actually falling in the Mugen Train. And then this is where we go back at where we are in the manga of Nezuko actually saving Tanjiro. And then this old part with Nezuko is exactly as in the manga as well. Here we see Zohakuten for the first time. His character design is perfect. His voice as well, I think they chose a perfect voice actor. It sounds heavy and deep, just like it needed to, but at the same time it kind of sounds young as well. Like it's just really perfect. Like I couldn't ask for more. By the way, here they use the same effect as they've been using in the Upper Moon meeting with the kind of after effect that they're using here. And we get this kind of iconic shot from the manga of Zohakuten. It might be my favorite shot of Zohakuten in the manga, and this is, here we can see the color palette are perfect. The gold especially, he really looks like a god, like his design makes him look like a god. So I love that he has still like the kind of same pattern as Sekido for his shorts, and then his sleeves are Aizetsu's sleeves. The purple things, I don't even know how to call it. It's not even earrings because it's in his hair, but it's Rogi had those purple things. I mean, every shot of Zohakuten this episode just looks perfect. It's amazing. Then this whole sequence of Tanjiro wondering what's going on, Genya wondering what's going on, exactly as in the manga. I love that they did animate here the whole sequence of Sekido absorbing the other demons. Here in the manga, Aizetsu doesn't get it as well. It's some little details, like Aizetsu kind of just blocks all the bullets here, and the anime does get it. But then after this, exactly as in the manga, to be honest, when he absorbs them and everything, my poor boy Aizetsu as well, my man my man was like, nah, let's not do this, but Sekido said yeah. Local sequence here as well with Sekido on the ground. It kind of gives more of a creepy tone a little bit here with him on the ground. Again, here you can see the slow pacing a little bit. We get an anime only scene as well of Genya reloading his shotgun. Here, in the, just like in the manga of basically Zohakuten protecting Hantengu. Perfect, here you can sense his pressure. Yeah, they did that perfectly. And here we got my favorite shot of the whole episode, the of Zohakuten. This shot is amazing. The details, the compositing, I'm so happy of how good it looks. It's insane. The smoke effect as well in this episode with Zohakuten, everything has been amazing. Like just the smoke around him. And we get again the amazing music. It's Zohakuten's theme basically. And then here again with Zohakuten calling us awful villains, and Genya after that being like he's heavy with the music. It's perfect. The tension is really built up well here. In here normally in the manga we get kind of a narration talking about Atengu's power. The more we press him, the stronger he gets, and basically saying that his blood demon art is him manifesting his emotions. Here obviously in the anime they just always cut the narration, which kind of sucks, but after a little bit they kind of show the same exact scene as in the manga. There's just no narration or anything, but we do kind of see the same shot as in the manga of Hantengu, you know, being scared. The whole scene with Tanjiro saying to Zohakuten, bro, what are you talking about? You've eaten more than 200 people, exactly as in the manga. The shot of Tanjiro's face as well is done exactly as in the manga. It's really good. Then we get the eye catcher, which is Zohakuten. It's kind of just the same panel as in the manga art. And then the other one is the cover of chapter 117, which is Moichiro trapped. So here normally in the manga we switch back to Moichiro in his present part, but here they wanted to stretch the episode. This is where, you know, there's some negative points here. There's literally a whole sequence of just them standing there not saying anything, and we get kind of just those still shots and everything. We get an extra scene of Genya basically saying the same thing that he said before, like Why? The only thing that I like about this anime only scene is here this kind of extra dialogue that we get from Zohakuten. He's basically said, "Is this your family? Alright, don't care." It definitely fits Zohakuten's character, so I really like this little interaction, but I do like this little sequence though with all the kind of 5 dragon heads and Zohakuten at the bottom with his red eyes. It looks really good. And then finally we do switch to Moichiro trap in the water pot, just like in the manga. They do add again an anime only scene that doesn't need to be there, with Gyoko saying the exact same lines in the last episode, talking about his creative juice or something. My man is sus as always. Then after this is where we go back where we are in the manga. Moichiro doing one misbreeding farm trying to get out of the water present pot, which is basically a one-on-one with the manga. It's literally a copycat, exactly the same. Now after that there's not much to talk about. I mean, Moichiro, all the dialogue here exactly as in the manga. I do love that we get a shot that's not in the manga, just the master's face, a close-up shot. It looks good. And then we go to see Gyoko who is in the shack, and we get again some anime only dialogue, because in the manga as soon as we go back to Gyoko, he's already attacking. I do want to point out that I love this shot of Gyoko here. It's so creepy with his eyes glowing. Amazing shot. I do love here that his attack is water in the anime, because in the manga you can't really see what he does to him. Like, yeah, we just don't know with what attack he hit him. Then we have the goat himself sharpening the blade, exactly as in the manga. The sword looks really good with the fire, and it's black as well. Cool shot of Gyoko here smirking, kind of like in the manga. We get a smirk in the manga as well, so it's really cool that they kept his... I mean, they have been doing Gyoko's his body movement and everything, like the animation for Gyoko has been insanely good for no reason. I love that they made him look extra pissed in the anime as well here, with Haganezuka being just a step above Gyoko, man. Gyoko wish he could be like Haganezuka. And here in the manga, Gyoko kind of attacks him with kind of a whip, we don't really know, but then we see that there's like a fish with blades. Here in the anime there's no fish no whatsoever in this whole scene with Haganezuka and Gyoko, which kind of makes a little bit more sense in the anime, because if there's actually, like, after the fish attacks Haganezuka, it just disappears in the manga, so it kind of makes more sense here in the anime. And in the manga, Haganezuka gets attacked basically one time and he loses his mask. In the anime they did it 2 times, so he gets attacked like 2 different scenes, and the second time that's where he loses his mask. My man is beautiful as always, pause, but yeah, he looks exactly as in the manga. I'm really happy. I didn't know what to expect in terms of what eye color he would have, so I'm happy with orange. It looks good. The music as well in this whole scene with Haganezuka is so freaking good. The mix between Gyoko's theme and Haganezuka, Goshina cooked as always. Music as well with Moichiro's scene and the water present pot with the piano is perfect, really good. Again, the dialogue here with Tanjiro and Moichiro exactly the same. There's not much movement. That's kind of the thing with this episode. It's kind of real slow, and we basically kind of get this shot with Moichiro's eyes so many times in this episode. Like, the shots are pretty similar. It's, yeah, you get the point. Kotetsu saving Moichiro, I love that. The full circle with Moichiro helping him before, exactly as in the manga as well. Not much added stuff here, other than here him trying to just push the water present pot with his body. That's not in the manga. It's cool. And then we have Mr. Crab. Like, what the hell is this? Every time I see this is so funny, man. It looks so goofy. Like, in the manga the fish is really small, and again we see here the suffering of the slow pacing of this episode of Kotetsu giving air to Moichiro. It takes a lot of time before it does gets, like, here it's like really slow. Like, Kotetsu is really slow before, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if this is all because of just the episode director, the storyboarding, or just the script writing. I'm not sure what but I do hope we don't get this for the next 4 episodes. It really can't be as slow as this for the next 4 episodes, so I'm just hoping that we're not gonna have the same problem that we had in this episode for the future ones. We see Moichiro's dad, which looks just like in the manga. I like his voice. He has the same voice as Uryu and Bleach, and I know I haven't watched Naruto, but people have been saying he has the same voice actor as Sasuke. It's not like we see Moichiro's dad that much, and I don't think we're gonna hear his voice that much, but since we have such a good voice actor, I'm wondering, are we gonna get more anime only scene of Moichiro's backstory next episode with his dad? And then Moichiro does his misbreeding. Here, super smooth when he does cut it, and yeah, the animation is amazing. With the kind of CGI water here, the 3D water, it looks amazing. It blends in really well. And this is where we end the episode basically with this shot, which this shot is the start of chapter 118. And this is it for this episode. I would give this episode like a 7.5. I mean, again, the main issue was the episode directing, storyboarding as well. Like, it just felt so slow. It felt like they were just stretching it out. I really like the lighting that they're using with the Zohakuten Tanjiro and stuff. It's more kind of black and white. There's less colors around them and everything. It gives a good vibe. And the old Haganezuka and Gyoko part was done perfectly as well. So next episode 8, called The Mu in Moichiro, is going to be hopefully a big episode with Moichiro's backstory and his fight against Gyoko. I'm hoping we cover at least 2.5 chapters, and my prediction is that we might end on Gyoko's true form, his final form. So hopefully we end there. So let me know what you think about this episode, and don't forget to subscribe to don't miss out on my reaction to episode 8, and don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this type of content. Alright, see ya!